Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to do this Valentine's manicure. So excited. We're going to be using Sparkle & Co. Midnight and their subscription color Heart Eyes, which is a really beautiful red glitter. Let's do it. So to do this manicure, we're going to need dip 37 Midnight. These are all Sparkle & Co. I'm going to use dip 90, which is just my clear dip, and dip 36, which is Heart Eyes. Now, to be able to get the glitter press to look this way, what I did is I kind of put a little bit of glitter into the bottom of a cupcake liner, and I just kind of tap it so that they're spread out, because I was finding that if I was dipping it into the red and then putting it on my nail, it came out super red, and that's not what I wanted. That's not the look I was going for. I wanted just a little bit of red on the ends there, and for it to kind of trail down. I could have done an ombre, I suppose, but the look would have been a little bit different. So anyway, those are the ones I used. I'm using my glossy coat as my base and my glossy, so that's number 4. You can use the glossy as the base and then use it again when you need the glossy coat. Just FYI, my base bond is just kind of almost gone. So, and then solidify in between those. I also have my duster brush to dust off excess. I have a lint-free wipe. This black, I found you need to really wipe it off really well after you solidify and after you file and buff, so that it's really nice and smooth, because otherwise it doesn't come out looking quite right. You're also going to need a brush. Again, this is just my e.l.f. blending brush, $3 from Target, so super duper inexpensive to grab that. And then I have my efile, my buffing block, and my file in case I need to change my shape. So I've already put on my clear coat. I always do 3/4 of my nail in just to clear, and that's just to kind of protect the nail. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. So the way I'm doing this is to get this look. I really want the red glitter to kind of be encased in the black. I first tried it out doing it with a clear coat, so I'd put the glitter on and then clear coat the rest, but it wasn't really looking the way I wanted it to. So I found it was better to put the glitter on and then dip it in the black and then do a full clear coat over top, which I buffed out really well as I was shaping my nails. So I'll show you. So we're going to start with our base, which again I'm using the glossy, but base bond or the glossy coat. And you want to just spread this all the way. Make sure, if ever there were a time for a perfect application, this is it. Because if you have to do it again, it gets quite thick. And I hate that feeling. And although you are going to buff some of it off, or efile or whatever you do, you know, I don't want to do all that extra work if I don't have to. So get as close to my cuticle and my side walls as I can without touching them. And then I'm just going to tip this and lay my finger right into the black. Give it a little second to adhere. And then if I do have any like really bad over the edges, I'll clean those up just with the tip of a orange wood stick. You know, but you have to be careful, because if you take off too much, then you have to go do a whole nother dip, and again, it's getting thicker and thicker. So now that that's had a second, we're just going to brush off the excess. And this is going to be our red glitter and then black for the rest dip. So I'm going to pull this out here. I've got my brush here. So we're going to do same thing again, not too much, but we want to get a decent coverage here. But we don't want it dripping. My brush is getting a little hard. I need to get a new one in here. Okay, so that is all over. So what we're gonna do is I always hold my brush like this, and I'm just gonna tap it in here and tap it onto my nail. Tap, tap. And I turned it over because that side needs to be cleaned off, which I didn't see. And then I'll just kind of try and tap some down that goes a little lower. But I really want it to look concentrated at the top. but I don't want it, I wanted to be able to control more where it fell. So I just give those a little tap down, and then it's going to go into the black. So you can see how that red glitter there is like encased into the black, and that's really going to give it that look where the black is completely surrounding it. So, okay, I'll put this over here. This little dust. And then we're going to put a clear dip over top. And again, I always say I clear dip over pretty much everything nowadays. It just gives you a really nice surface to work with when you're buffing and filing. And that helps because then you have space to file and buff without worrying about taking off all the color, and especially with the glitter, because you can scratch the glitter and it would start to look silver. I'm sure I've got one or two that I scratched up around here somewhere, but okay, so it looks like a big glob of a mess. So we're gonna dust it off, some solidify, and then we're gonna file this baby down so it's in the shape that I want. And as always, we're going to make sure that we create a really nice kind of soft rise from the cuticle up to the nail. And that's just going to help prevent lifting once the nail starts to grow out. Because if you don't soften these up, this edge will, once it's away from the cuticle a little, it'll get real grabby. My hair gets stuck in it and really bugs me. Same with these corners here, so I just go over them a few times until they look like they've kind of got a nice little rise to them without looking too bulky. Gonna shape and make sure everything looks the way I want it to. Okay, that's looking good. So we're going to dust that off. I'm going to take a lint-free wipe and just wipe it down just to get any of that excess kind of as much as I can off. And then we'll put on our solidify to harden that up. And we'll go ahead and move on to this one while that gives just a second to dry here. So we'll get our black on here. Again, we want a decent coat because we want to make sure and cut all, or cover, excuse me, all the edges in one dip. If you need to do two, it's fine, do two. If that's a better look. So I'm just going over and over this because I don't want it to get too thick, so I'm trying to still keep it pretty thin, but I need good coverage. So we'll see how it goes, fingers crossed. Sometimes it doesn't always come out the way I want it to. Looks decent. Little tap, perfect, looks Nothing's too close to the edges or the side wall. Maybe a touch close to my cuticle, but we're gonna buff that down a little bit, so it should be okay. Okay. All right, so let's go back and finish this guy. Our solidify should be fairly dry now. Again, I'm just gonna hit it with a lint-free wipe and then do my glossy coat. And I do that mostly just so that the solidify doesn't get into the glossy and make it all stringy, because that does tend to happen sometimes. Give that about 20 seconds. See how pretty it is already? Yay. Very different look from my last week's Valentine Mani, which was like every finger was a different color, and it was all like pink and shiny, which I totally love, but just thought I'd go for a different look. And I have to go back to work today, so boo. All right, so we're gonna do our next coat on here, which is gonna be our glitter at the end and the rest in black. You can see I've got a red piece of glitter in there, but I'm just not gonna worry about it. Okay, so we've got our glitter, spread that out. Actually gonna try and clean this brush off a little bit. All right, I'm gonna use this side is less. So pick up some glitter, and you always wanna go glitter to nail. Tracy Ryerson from Young Nails taught me that. Thank you, Tracy. I'll put a link up to her glitter press video, which is really cool. So you can use this tactic. Okay, just give these top ones a little pat down. Don't want to get too much all over my finger, and then it's going to go into the black. Little tap. I'm just going to go through and pat these down as best I can. And then we're going to go in and put our clear coat. See, so it kind of looks like it encapsulates the red glitter a little bit, which I like. With the clear, I just wasn't finding it was getting that kind of depth to it. It just felt like the glitter was just kind of sitting out there. And that wasn't the look I was really going for. So this time is a full clear dip to protect. Okay. Some solidify, harden it up so we can file and buff. Okay, here we go. The thing I love about this efile I have is that I can switch the direction. So I don't know if you saw me reach over to the controls here, and this, you up one direction and back goes the other direction, and you control the speed here. And I love it because when you're switching directions, you get more resistance one way than the other, obviously depending on which way the bit is spinning. And so it's really nice to be able to switch it if you're kind of feeling that resistance and you want to make it a little bit smoother, because if you go against and it kind of skips and it can cut little divots, and if it's not smooth, that bothers me. So it's something I am careful about. So solidify all over. I'll give that just a minute. So here's my dilemma. I was thinking about leaving it matte, and I did swatches of how I wanted it when I was practicing. And I really like the matte, but now that I have it on and it's glossy, I don't know if I can do it. Okay, so our solidify is on there. We're gonna just give it a little wipe and then some glossy. You don't want to wipe off too much or wait too long to put the glossy coat on after the solidify, because the solidify is actually what hardens the glossy coat. And if you either don't put the top solidify or you wait too long, it won't work. So about 15-20 seconds in between, and then we get a nice shiny top. There it is. Thanks so much for watching this tutorial today. Hope you enjoyed this second Valentine's Day manicure. We'll be working on Valentine's Day number 3 next week, so make sure that you like and share this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any upcoming content. As a reminder, if you are interested in the Sparkle & Co. Products, please go to their website. You can use me as a referral, or whoever turned you on to Sparkle & Co. Just make sure you put my name in the notes box for either your subscription bag order or your first order. You get a $18 credit for a subscription bag order and $9 store credit for your first order if you put in a referral person, and you'll get that as well as the person who referred you. It's much appreciated if you do. We'll see you next time.